Hello. Today's video I'm going to talk about economics for everyone, every day, and everywhere. And I want to focus on gas price, its correlation to Brent crude oil. I want to talk about defining factors and highlight geopolitics. Each of us needs transportation, and transportation is mainly defined by gas prices. We can easily track changes in gas prices because gas stations are everywhere, the roads, when we go to buy food, when we go to college, and gas prices are relative to us. Firstly, I'm talking about gas price and crude oil price correlation. Here are two graphs. In the bottom graph, we have average price, average gas price in Arizona, starting from 2018 till 2024, beginning of 2024. And at the top right, we have price of crude oil from 2021 to beginning of 2024. Let's talk about gas prices. Oh, we know that in 2020 we had a huge surplus in crude oil, and crude oil became negative for several days. That's why we have bottom in 2020 when gasoline prices were around $2.2 per gallon. That was a good time. And in subsequent 2 years, the gas prices rose until 5.7, almost triple. And in the top right graph, which is for crude oil, we also see that since 2020, it's almost tripled from 50 to 120. And we can say that negative prices became 120 for 1 barrel of crude oil. That's a huge upwards movement. And now we see a steady decrease in crude oil price, which correlates with current gasoline prices here. In Havasu we can observe that some gas stations offer 3.3, 3.2, 3.1 even for 1 gallon. And I remember from my own observations when crude oil price was around 100, it was beginning of previous semester, fall semester. Gas prices were 3.8, 3.7 per gallon, and now we see small cool down. And I can say gas almost anytime correlates with crude oil, but not always. Here is a graph that represents gas prices in Russia, and we know that Russia has a terrible economic situations with all sanctions, and Russian government controlled gas prices in 2020, 2022, and we had spikes in price in 2022, but Russian gas prices were steady around 100 rubles per liter. It's around $4 per gallon, 2 years. But when we had a cool down, Russian gas prices increased until 110 rubles per liter. Let's talk about other defining factors. Supply and demand really influence gas prices. For example, we know that Venezuela has a huge oil resources and supply is enormous for this region with a current price for gasoline around 12 cents per gallon. That's incredible. I want to have the same prices here. And I want to compare it to Monaco, a small country that has huge demand for cars because they don't produce oil, they don't have crude oil. And Their gas price is around 8.7 US dollars per gallon, while average world price for gasoline is around 1.4. It's about $4.5 per gallon. Other defining factors are taxes, distribution and marketing costs for oil companies, for energy companies, and environmental regulations. For example, Singapore regulates their gas prices because they want to encourage people to use public transportation more often than use their personal vehicles. And finally, let's talk about geopolitics. Geopolitical events. An essential region for the world's oil production in the Middle East is defining oil prices. And for example, political unrest in a significant Middle Eastern oil production nation may give rise to worries about possible interruptions to oil exports and production. Oil prices have historically increased in response to Middle East conflicts such as Gulf War and other constant Middle East conflicts. And there is one cartel, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, is the most well-known and powerful cartel for crude oil. OPEC was established in 1960 and presently has 30 member nations, most of which are South America, Africa, and the Middle East. Those regions have the most oil resources, and together OPEC members have a sizable share in the world's proven oil reserves and are important participants in the world's oil market. Thank you for watching the video.